Good morning again. Today we'll continue to talk about JavaScript. Yes, first of all, I want to say a few words about functions. Okay, friends, now I think everybody know why we need function, okay? Here I'm going to show you what is the syntax to write a function in JavaScript, okay? Let's write a simple function, okay? And then we'll talk about that. We will try to see its function.
Can you share your screen?
Who is talking?
Daniel.
Daniel, I didn't share the screen yet.
Oh.
Okay, first of all, I will talk about function structure with this exercise, and with this exercise you will see how you can write your functions. Okay. Now let me share my screen with you. Okay. Then here I can write our first example. Okay. Okay. Now, first of all, I want to, let's say, find the square of two numbers. How we can do that? We can say that, let's say that we want to find the square of x, okay? Then I'm declaring my x, then I'm going to read it from the user. Enter the value, okay? And I can take it with %. And here I can say x multiply x. This is the way to find the square of x, okay? Okay, let's say 5, the result is 25. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this x square into function. So I will have a function that finds me square of a given number, okay? And what I'm doing here, I'm going to create my function, okay? It is very easy here. I will say function. What is the name of function? Let's say that the name of the function is square. And of course, I will have a parameter. I will say a, okay? And then I'll write my function body, okay? This is the name of function. This is the function keyword. We have parameters here. And between braces, you will write your function body. So what I'm going to do, I will say variable, not variable actually. Yes, yeah, but we can write, let's say variable result. Okay, result is equal to a multiply a and return result. This is the way to write the function. It is very similar, but simpler than C. Okay, so here, if I want to find the square of x, then I can call my function to do that. And what I'm going to do, I will say square x. Okay. Then I'm saving it and I'm refreshing. So I'm saying 100 and the result is, so I said 10 and the result is 100. Okay. This is the way to write a function in JavaScript. Functions are so useful, so you will need to do that, okay? Now, I'm giving you a task, okay? In this task, I want you to read 3 numbers, okay, from the user. You will read 3 numbers from the user, okay, and you will find the minimum of these 3 numbers in a function and display the result to the user. Okay, in your main part, you read 3 values from the user and you will have a function that finds the minimum of 3 numbers. So in your main, after you read 3 numbers from the user, you will call the function. Function will return you the minimum value and you will display it in the main. Okay, this is the task. So I'm giving you, let's say, the 10 minutes and let's say 15 minutes. Okay, and I want you to solve this task now. Okay, you can start.
Sure. Can we use arrays?
No arrays, Mohammed. No arrays. I will talk about the arrays next week. So I don't want you to use arrays. Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, one question. For taking multiple parameters inside one function, do we have to separate them by any operator?
Comma. Comma is enough.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
You are welcome. And by the way, we have math.max ready function that you can find the maximum of 2 numbers. I don't want you to use math.max, okay? Here, let me show you. For example, let's say that we have 2 numbers, okay? We have a math function, math.max. You can find the maximum one, x or y. The maximum value will return back when you use this function. Okay, what we can do, we are engineers, so we can say that y and z. So here, this function returns us the maximum one, and it will compare only y and z. Then the maximum of these two will be compared with x. So at the end of this statement, you will get the maximum of these 3 values, I mean x, y, and z. So I don't want you to use this one, okay? Just know this, but don't use this. Use our traditional way. Use if statements to compare the values in the function, okay? Okay, let's continue. Is it okay, friends? You finished?
Yes, sir. Just a minute. I'm making some regularizations.
Okay, a few more minutes. Let's say 2 minutes. Okay, I will continue after that. Okay, friends. Okay. It's an easy task, but good exercise, especially in your first steps in JavaScript. Now, let me continue. Okay. Okay, here, before I continue, okay, I want to show you how we can generate a random number in JavaScript, because we will use this in our later exercises. So, friends, here, let's say that I'm going to display X. Okay. Here, for X, I'm going to generate a random number. All I'm saying math. This is our mathematic class that we can use many methods here. Okay, math dot floor 1 plus math dot random multiply 6. Now what happens here? Okay, what happens here? First of all, math dot random, okay, generates a number, generates, yes, a number between 0 and 1, okay? So it can be 0 or it can be any value between 0 and 1, or it can be, but it cannot be 1, okay? This means that between 0 and 1, but 0 is included, 1 is not included, okay, when you use random function. So what happens here? Let's say that math.random generates the value, the minimum value for me, which is 0. Okay, 0 multiply 6 will be 0. Plus 1 will be 1. And math floor takes the value to the lowest integer value, okay? So here I have 1, so it will be 1. This means that by using this statement, I can, I can find minimum value 1, okay? This will be my minimum value. Okay, what about the maximum value? What about the maximum value? Okay, let's say that math.random generated the maximum value, which is the very close number to 1. It is not 1, but it is very close to 1, which means 0.9999 something. Okay. And when I multiply 6 with 0.999, what will happen? Okay, let's find it. Let's say that, I mean, I will write it in a simple way. Let's say that it is 99. Multiply 6, it will be 5.94. Then what happens? I am adding 1 to my value. Okay. So plus 1, it will be 6.94. Then what I have here, I have math floor. When I have math floor, here, okay, it will take it to the lowest integer number, which is 6. Then 6 will be my maximum value. Now what happened here, friends? Here I'm using this statement to generate a number between 1 and 6. Okay. So if I say 0 here, it will be between 0 and 6. If I say 2 here, it will be between 2 and 6. If I say 10 here, it will be between 2 and 10. Okay? You got the idea? You got how we are generating random integer value by using, let's say in JavaScript, by using mathfloor and mathrandom. I hope you got the idea here. Okay, this is the way how we are generating random integer numbers in JavaScript. Okay, let's move to our next exercise. Please learn this, know this, because in our exercises we'll use that. Okay. Now, in the next exercise, I'm going to show you another way how you can write your scripts. Okay. This is a little bit advanced way to write a script, but I want to talk about that. Now, friends, here I'm going to write my script, but I will write my script in a modular way. Modular way means I will use functions to write my, script. So, first of all, okay, I'm saying I will have a function. Let's say that this function will be my first function or start function. You can give any name. Okay, let's say the first function. And here in this function, I'm going to let's say that display hello CMP class. Okay, but before I continue, I will use a modular way to write my script. So I will have functions, only functions here, and how the browser will understand which function will be the main function, or let's say that will run first. Okay, it doesn't matter you give first name to it, and you should tell the interpreter that this is the function that is going to run first. So what I need to do here, I need to say window dot add event listener. Load means when you load the page, okay, then run this function, the function which has name first. This means that when loading, it will run the first function. It will run this function first. Doesn't matter the name is first. You can say, for example, A. Okay, say A. Okay. Then the function with this name will run first. When will run first means when loading, this function will run. Okay. Then what happens here? Here in my function, okay, I want to display a message. So this function will run. Okay, I can use document write line, but no need for that. Okay, what I'm going to do, I will declare a variable here. Let's say that if we want to give a meaningful name, we can say output. Okay. Then here in my function, I will say output is equal to hello CMP 342 class. Okay. And if you like, you can put, let's say, paragraph here. This is my output. Then what this output will be? Now nothing. Okay. So why I said output? Because it's possible to run some other functions. Okay. For example, let's say that I have another function here, function B, for example. Okay. And when you have function B, okay. We can say output plus equal. I'm adding this one to my output variable. Another paragraph. Okay. Computer engineering. Okay. Then I will have two HTML paragraphs in my output. Okay. Then this function is the one that will run first, or let's say it will be loaded. Okay, when the page is loading, so it will give initial string to output. After that, I need to call function B. Okay, I need to call function B. So I will say B. Okay, and then when I finish everything, I may have some other functions. I may call them. I may call, for example, B 2 times. It's possible. Okay. And when I finish everything here, let's say that we can think that this function is being my main function, like in C. Okay, everything is function in C as well. So I will say document, and everything is finished. Get element by ID, and let's say that real results. Okay, here dot inner HTML is equal to what? Is equal to my output, because my output is my page, contains the code of my page. So here I'm taking this code and putting it in real results. And the last step will be the body part, of course. In the body part, HTML body part, I will say division. My ID is equal to what? Real results. Okay, and that's all. Okay. Now what happened here? When interpreter is loading this page, first of all, it will run function A. Function A will give initial string to output, then calls B function 2 times. So computer engineering will be added to my output 2 times. So we'll have hello CMP 342 class, then computer engineering, then computer engineering. We have 3 paragraphs here. Then I will assign this output to real results here, because I'm finalizing my script. And then this real result contains HTML elements inside. So I'm going to display all here. Okay, let me save it and refresh it. Okay, of course, the easiest way is to write these 3 paragraphs in body part directly. But why I'm talking this? Because we may have complicated problem solutions, and solving our problems with functions, or let's say that in a structured way, in a modular way, is very nice solution. So from now on, I'm going to use this method to write our exercises. Okay, and I want you to know what is a window add event listener, what is document get element by ID, how I'm going to create my output in HTML format and assign it to, let's say that in my body of my HTML page, and display the HTML elements in my browser. Okay. You can find details in our lecture notes about this. Okay. And one more exercise I'm going to solve by using this method. It will be good to repeat this method, then you can learn it better. And the second thing is, in this new exercise, I'm going to say a few words about recursive functions, because they are important. Okay. And now I'm going to create another file. Okay, here, let's write our scripts. Now,
Sir,
yes.
can you go to the previous code, please?
Yes.
Okay, what in line 22? I don't understand what this function, what this line do, this code.
This line says that when you open this page on the browser, and first of all, when the script runs, okay, when the script is loading, I'm telling it which function will run first. Remember our C code. When you run, you may have many functions, but when you run the code, when you execute the code, which function runs first? Main function, isn't that? Compiler knows it, but here I need to tell the interpreter, because we don't have compiler here, I need to tell browser that when you run this script, you must run this function first. Load A means that when loading the script, you need to run, or when loading the page, you need to run function A. Change it to, for example, start. Right here, start. Okay. If you say B, for example, it will run this function first. That's right. Save it. Refresh it. Okay, but we don't have meaning here. So we designed our program that this will be the first one. So I need to say okay, you got the point. But here, if you say no B, okay, let's run this, save it. Here's some problems. Yes. Yes. This shows the main function. Which one will be the main? In C, for example, compiler knows that main is the main function. I mean, the first part, the first function that will run. But here, compiler has no idea. Okay, compiler has no idea. So you need to say that this will be the first one. But as I said, the name is not important because we are giving the name. We are giving the name. For example, for B, if you want to change it to B, let me finish that problem. Here we are forming the output, but it's not enough, okay? Don't forget. If B is your main function, not start, so here we need to form real results, the name I gave here. Okay, here you are saying that B will be the first function that will run, but the problem is what is the output? So if B is your first, then you also need this one, okay? Then you will form, when you finish the function, you will form, your real results because you are displaying real results in your body part. Okay.
Hocam, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hocam, I think in line 23, the method actually means that when the page loads, run the function, because when you write JavaScript in the head tag, you cannot access the DOM because it's not actually rendered. So
yes.
You cannot say document get element by ID in the head because the page is not even loaded. I think when the page loads, you can access the DOM, so that's why we are running the line 23 there. It's not that the function will run first, because it will run first regardless if you use it, but you don't have access to the body part in the head section when you're using script there.
Didn't I say that? But it's the same what I said, isn't it?
No, because if you remove that line, it will give you an error because you don't have access to the document.
Do you mean removing this line?
Yes, it will not work because you cannot write JavaScript in the head section. You don't have access to the body part.
Yes, my friend, but I didn't say that you need to remove this one. No, we need this one.
No, yes, you need it, but its job is not to say which function runs first, because the function start will run first anyway.
I didn't say that. What I said, you are talking a little bit advanced way. I'm not talking about that because we have limited time, and in this course I will talk about many materials. Here, what I said that when the page is loading, this is load event. Look,
yeah, it fires
window,
when loads.
look, window, add even listener. I am saying that I am adding a listener here when the specific event occurs. What is the specific event here? Load event. When the page is loading, I am defining it here. When the page is loading, you see my screen, isn't it?
Yes, it's actually when the page loads, after the page loads, because before the page loads, you don't have access to the document.
Not, of course, before loading, how it will do that?
Yes, it means after the page loads, because you have to otherwise write the script tag in the body part after the div element.
Do you mean that I said page is loading? You are saying after loading?
After loading, because you're writing this in the head part, right? Because if
yes,
otherwise you have to move the entire script.
Yes, of course, friends. Yani, I didn't say that, but I am thinking that you already guessed this. Yani.
No, because the explanation you are giving is incorrect otherwise. This is not saying that which function loads first. This is saying that run the JavaScript code after the page loading event fires. That's the meaning of the statement.
Can you
It
come again,
seems
please?
Okay. The statement means that after the page loads, the browser or the tag will fire and load event. If the start function runs before that, or the function B, it doesn't have access to the DOM element because the browser hasn't generated it yet.
Okay.
That's the meaning of the function. The
Yani
state.
still I didn't understand what is the difference between our speech. What I am saying, this is the method that I'm saying event listening. When the page loading, I'm here because I'm specifying the, let's say that which event. I'm saying load event. So here it will run B. But I have some additional text here. I'm not sure. Let me, if you like, I can say a few words about that. Okay. Specifying a function to call when the browser finishes loading a document. Okay. I'm reading from the book. Okay. From this point forward, many of our examples will execute a JavaScript function when the document finishes loading in the web browser window.
Yes, that's what I'm saying as well. Yeah.
Yes. From this point forward, I'm repeating it again, many of our examples will execute a JavaScript function when the document finishes loading in the web browser window. This is accomplished by handling the window object's load event. Okay? To specify the function to call when an event occurs, you registering an event handler for that event. To specify the function to call when an event occurs, you registering an event handler for that event. Yes, I am saying this. We register the
yes, that's correct. Yes.
I'm already saying this. I'm trying to, explain in a simpler way because
Yes.
here we have friends who are working on JavaScript as a first time. So I can talk details. I can give you more advanced things, but I'm trying to explain in a simpler way. Okay. So don't think that
Yes.
what I explain is all. No, you need to, if you want to improve yourself, you need to study more and read more. By the way, if you like to check the lecture note that I already sent you, you will see that you have additional 3 notes, supplementary materials. Okay, if it is 4.6, 4.7, and 4.8, those are supplementary materials. You will not be responsible in the exam, but I'm giving you if you like to study further. Okay. Anyway, let me finish it.
Yes.
Since Khan wanted to a little bit more detailed explanation, so this is my responsibility to talk about that. And in the lecture notes on 4.4, lecture slide 26, you can see the details that we discussed with Khan. Okay. And since I'm recording, let me read it here one more time. You can also check the lecture notes, but I want to read it because this is recorded lecture. So let me finish it. Let me start over. Specifying a function to call when the browser finishes loading a document. Okay, this is what we are doing. This is what we are doing here. Okay. From this point forward, we will use this mechanism in our JavaScript examples. Okay, and many of our examples will execute a JavaScript function when the document finishes loading in the web browser window. This is accomplished by handling the window object's load event. Okay, this is why I am specifying load here, because I'm saying add event listener here. Okay, add event listener, and this is the event that we are going to listen. To specify the function to call when an event occurs, you're registering an event handler for that event. Okay. we register the Windows load event handler at this line. Okay, method event add event listener is available for every DOM node. Okay, the method takes 3 arguments. The first one is the name of the event of which we are registering a handler. Here, as you see, load. Okay. Of course, we have some other events, friends, but I will not talk about them. Okay. Now we are concentrating the basic step, so I will talk about load. The second is the function that will be called to handle the event. And since I am saying load, then this will be the function that will run first. Okay. And the last one is false, but okay, this is a little bit out of scope here. I will not talk about that. Just use it as false now. Okay. Yes, you can find these explanations on lecture note 26. Okay, if you check 4.4 on slide 26, you can read this information at there. I think we are clear.
Yes, hocam. Thank you.
Is it okay, Khan? Okay,
Yes.
everybody happy? Tamam. Okay, that's good. Then, okay. Okay, let's continue. Okay, then the next exercise. Okay, now I'm going to say a few words about recursive function. I think everybody knows and remembers calculating factorials. Okay, calculating factorials. Actually, you can write, let's say that a way to run to find factorial by using iterative solution, but also there's a way to find factorial with a recursive function. Okay, and now I'm going to use recursive. At home you can try iterative, it can be a good practice for you. Then first of all, here I'm writing my function. Let's say that I'm going to find factorial of number. Okay, and if my number is equal to 0, okay, equal to 0, then I can say what is the factorial, 0 factorial, what should I return back?
1.
Yes, it is 1. 1. If my number is equal to 1, I mean, if I'm asking factorial 1, then again the result is 1. Okay. If my number, then no need actual if, because if I come here, okay, if I do not return 1 here and I do not return 1 here and I come here, it means that my number is greater than 1. So I will say return my number multiply factorial number minus 1. Okay. I'm taking my number out, then I'm calling the same function again by decreasing number by 1. Okay. And when it finds, friends, actually, we are calling this base case, you remember, or termination case. You can use any terminology here. Till it finds base case, so it will call itself. But when it finds base case, for example, number can be 1 or number can be 0, so return value will be 1, and it will start to go to the beginning. So while it goes to the beginning, it will always multiply the number with the return value. So finally, this function will give me the result of the initial number. Okay? This
So we
function.
have to.
Sorry? Is there any question? Okay. So here, if you like, I mean, you can merge these two. Doesn't matter. You can write them separate, or you can merge them. Okay, by using logical operator. You can say if my number is equal to 0 or equal to 1. Okay, you can write it in this way. If you like, you can say else here. Okay.
So you have to make sure it's a positive number, right?
Sorry?
You have to make sure it's a positive number.
Yes. But this is exercise. I mean, sure. When you read the number, you will check it if it is negative and warn the user, so on. I mean, I'm not talking about in that detailed way. Okay, this is just an example to show you how we are writing recursive functions. Okay, and practicing our new add even listener method. Okay. So you are right, of course. It's better when you read the number, you may check it if it is negative or positive. But I'm not. If I would do that, I'm not preferring to do it in the function, because here it's a different issue. So here I can do that when I read the number from the user, but not here. Okay. Sorry, this should be, you are right, Malik, it should be or. Number is equal to 0 or number is equal to 1, or and you can use other statements. For example, if the number is less than or equal to 1, if the number is equal to 0 or number is equal to 1, you can return 1 back to the column. Okay, thank you, Malik. Friends, actually, I'm writing these exercises now. Okay, I have no. I'm not studying before I'm coming here. These are, we are solving, we are discussing, okay, like we are in laboratory session. So I may miss some points. Don't hesitate. You can, if you, for example, Malik told me that it should be or. You are right, Malik. You can, point such mistakes if you see, no problem. Okay, everybody is human. So I'm writing the code live. I'm writing live code here. I'm not putting you video and we are watching all together. Anyway, I hope you enjoy from the classes. Okay, let's continue. Now, this is my factorial function. Then I'm going to write my main function. So in the main function, I will read a value from the user and I will find its factorial. So I can say function first. Okay. And here, I'm going to ask user to give me a number. Okay. So I'm saying variable number, then number is equal to %. Window enter a value. Okay. And after I get the value from the user, then I'm going to here I will say variable output, and here I will say output is equal to factorial number. Okay. Now I'm calling factorial function. I will find the factorial and write the result into output. But is this all? No. So here I need to say document that element by ID. So let's say results inner HTML is equal to output. Okay. And in the body part, I will say division ID is equal to results. Okay. I think this will give us the results. Now here, let me write heading tutorial. Now let me run my code. I'm saving it. Okay. What I missed here?
The function first is not.
There's a function for loading.
Ah, yes, definitely. Here, I need to say window add listener, then load, then first, then first. Okay. Okay, let's save it and run it. Function first. Is that
Hocam,
correct?
maybe, yes, P should be small.
Sorry.
Percent. In percent, hocam,
Yes.
you should write P small, I think.
Yes. Let's. Yes. Yes. I'm still sleeping. Okay. Here. Okay. As you see, friends, I want you to be careful on one point. Now, I'm asking user to enter a value. Okay. But as you see here, we have some other things on my body. Okay. For example, factorial. It's not here, you see. It is not shown on the page. But page is here, actually. Page is here, but it's not shown. First of all, it will finish script and then display all together. Okay, be careful about that. So here, I'm saying 3. This will be the number that I'm going to find. It's factorial. Saying, okay, and then factorial will come from heading 2 element, and the rest comes from result. Okay, and what is result? Result is here because I said that first will be run. Then in the first, it is calling factorial, reading a value from the user, calling factorial function to find the factorial of the given number, and assigning the result to my res, and that one will be displayed here. Okay. Yes, I think this is the summary of what we are doing here. Any question? Okay. Okay, friends, then I'm going to stop here. Next lecture on Tuesday, I will talk about arrays. So, you know, everything is being merged, and I will use this mechanism, okay? I will use event listeners. So it's better to practice this method. And next lecture, I will talk about arrays. And as you see, everything is being merged. I mean, we will have arrays, functions together. So everything is being merged, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So don't wait for study. And Tuesday, I will talk about arrays. And next week on Thursday, I will have a surprise seminar for you. Okay. That will be additional seminar. I mean, it's not in our course outline, but I believe that it will be so useful for you. This is why I am especially invited a professor to give a speech about a surprise topic. Okay, I will talk about this next week on Tuesday. I will tell you the topic. I suggest you do not miss this seminar on Thursday. Okay, it will be, I mean, good for all of you. Anyway, okay, I'm going to stop here. I will stop recording.